Welcome to Sick Flicks, and I'm Mike.
I'm Dalton.
And we're going to start this episode off a little differently because it's a new year. And it's a new us, right? New year.
Same old us.
Yeah, you're right.
We have not changed too much.
No. It's a same old us, but maybe a little bit different on the Sick Flicks side of things.
Things have changed.
Yeah. So if you don't know what this is or what you're listening to, Dalton and I talk about movies, and we release these episodes digitally or streaming, but we kind of were talking about what could the show look like in 2026 based on our time frames and all that kind of stuff. We do it once a month, right? And typically we did 2 films, and then we cut an episode down and censor it for Radio Western, and then release the uncensored, uncut version, as I said, on our streaming services. But we thought that that's not where we want to go in 2026. So, Dalton, what were we kind of thinking?
So we kind of came up with the idea that maybe for our wonderful Radio Western listeners, they'll get a little exclusive 1 hour on just one movie that you and I will riff on, and then
that's different than
it's
the
different.
Other two.
Yep. So it'll be a completely different movie, and then we'll do another episode, podcast exclusive, our traditional format, 2 films, completely uncensored.
Yep.
And then we haven't exactly determined what our release will look like. I'm sure it won't be too far apart.
No, they won't. Also, a little bit of a date time change.
Yes.
So this show that you're listening to currently, Sick Flicks with Mike and Dalton, will be airing on Radio Western Mondays at 9 p.m.
Yeah. The third Monday of every month.
And it's the third Monday of every month. So that's a little bit of a change from last year. So those are a couple of the things that we were thinking, and we give a little bit more content to listeners. It's also a little, we watch movies all the time anyway. So it's not that big of a deal for us to sit down and chat about a movie that we think is sick. So we just thought this would be a really cool way to kind of move forward with the show. We want to thank everybody that has been listening and messaging us and all that kind of stuff. It's cool to see that people are interested.
It's fun to hear that you guys love when we rant.
Yeah, which
we'll have some more in 2026. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, we'll have some momentarily.
He's ready.
There's something I wanted to discuss to kind of open this episode. But like I said, if you're a first-time listener or you just stumbled upon this, there really isn't too much of a format to this show, aside from like our credential, like the way that we choose our films is literally if they're sick or not.
Yeah,
and
that's all for this
it.
show. The only criteria to be talked about on the show is Mike and myself both have to agree that the movie is sick. There's no other
genres, decades, kinds of
Oddly
film.
enough, sometimes it can get into a serious conversation about is this sick or not, and then we will not elaborate on what that means either.
No. It's either sick or it's not
exactly.
Sick. I will mention at the top here too that today's episode will feature a film called Hard Rain.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to get into, and if you can't listen on the Mondays, as Dalton mentioned, these episodes will also appear on our streaming services, so Spotify, Apple, I don't know wherever you get your YouTube. There's YouTube, which some people have discovered. That's fun. But yeah, so you can listen to this. This will be as Dalton mentioned, a little bit. It will be censored for the internet. So. And it does have a little bit of a time constraint, so we have an hour window to talk about a very sick movie. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. And I thought to ease us into the conversation of Hard Rain, and also just because it's a new year, and we've been talking a lot about, on Outside the Frame, Dalton and I are both both on Outside the Frame, which airs Tuesdays at 6, also about movies, but it's also with Elijah and Maddie.
Yep.
So, and we do lots of different stuff over there. We have been focusing, like I said, whether it's our job in life or on shows that we talk about movies, focusing a lot about 2025 stuff and Oscar stuff, and picking our top 10s, for example, and all that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of, this, because we haven't really talked about this on any other platform, so I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on this, but also use it as a platform to talk about some of and I think you'll agree, there's, especially post-September, so post-TIFF, it's been really kind of tough for me to really fall for a movie really hard.
Yeah, you've been struggling.
It's been tough, and there's a bunch of different reasons why, and I'd like to kind of touch on them, but also use that again as a springboard to say, like, what was the movie year like in 2025? Do we feel good about it, bad about it?
Was it sick?
Was it sick? Yeah. And I guess for me, what kept, when this train left the station, we'll say, I'm at TIFF and watching, 4 or 5 movies a day, and and then there's obviously a ton of stuff that happened over the fall, and I just was getting more down on watching movies.
I watched it in real time.
Yeah,
you slowly get,
and I don't like that, but that's just how sometimes you can't ignore kind of how you're feeling about stuff. Yeah, the thing that kept popping up over and over again is this South Park episode where Stan turns 10 or something like that, and everything is poop.
Yes.
So and they use it in the literal sense, but also use it as a metaphor as well to say, like, every trailer that he saw, every movie that his friends were seeing, all the music that he was listening to, all the pop culture stuff just came across as that he just didn't get it, and it was it just came across as not being really great. And the fix to that in the episode is Jameson, which is really funny. That in order to get through all of that, he had to start hucking back Jameson, which
hopefully you haven't started started down that road.
No, absolutely not. However, I did find, there was something that happened in August, just before TIFF, which is I did turn 40, which is crazy. And that definitely popped into my head as well, that maybe I just don't think that new things are sick anymore, And what's interesting, I think, on the movie side is that there were movies that I enjoyed watching in the moment, or at TIFF, or in the theater with you or whoever by myself. But even I'll use the example of like Marty Supreme. Like, to me, like, I know everyone is like, we have friends who have seen that movie 5-6 times, and it's like, this is the
I
savior.
saw it twice.
This is the savior of movies. Look how amazing this is.
Yeah.
My thoughts on the matter is that, and I'll just use this as an example. I don't want to harp on Marty Supreme, but that it was fine. Like, I didn't have a bad time. I also didn't come out of there.
You had
being
some problems
like,
with it.
I had a bunch of problems with it.
I loved it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I didn't enjoy myself when I watched the movie.
Course.
I'm just like, and it made my top 10, but also
it just
like,
didn't sit with you the way it should have.
Right. Yeah. And even
what about a movie we talked about on this pod?
One Battle After Another.
That's a pretty sick movie.
It's a very sick movie.
Yeah.
It got closer it made my number 2 on my top 10. But still, I feel like I was missing something. Like, there is something that people were connecting to that I just wasn't connecting to. And really, if I'm being...
You're not woke enough. No, I'm just kidding.
If I'm being 100% honest, I really think that the only movies that I really like are ride or die for would be like Lurker and Testament of Van Lee.
Sure.
Like every other movie I could never watch again in the moment right now. I'm not saying ever. I'm just saying right now. I could never watch again, and it wouldn't affect me. And I feel like that's weird. And you've known me for a little while. Like, I watch a lot of movies. I love movies.
You rewatch a lot.
I rewatch a lot. And so I found myself watching way less films in November and December. And honestly, one of the interesting things I think, is that this show, along with Outside the Frame, but this show, because we have to watch movies for it, was a big part of me like getting through at least the first like, because without the show, I don't know if I would have watched a movie
for a while,
probably until Christmas.
Yeah,
and so that kind of kept
and luckily
we
only pick sick movies,
right?
So.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, well, I guess if I have to watch, Crimes of Passion or Body
I gotta
Double,
watch Hard Rain,
So I just wanted to kind of get your am I way off in saying that this movie year wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, or what's your feelings on?
I felt that way for most of the year. I was like, this has been a bad year for movies. And then when I was doing my top 10 list, I was like, there's a lot of pretty solid movies. There's a handful of great movies, and a small handful. And there's been a few years where, normally you get that, right?
Yeah.
But, there were movies this year that should have been really great that didn't quite make it. Yeah. But then there's also movies like One Battle, Begonia.
Begonia, I would say, is it's slowly creeping into that third spot for me.
It's very sick,
and it was a late edition.
Yeah,
I watched it because I was you recommended, one of our coworkers, Rain, recommended it to, or was excited about it. I don't know if they had seen it.
Yeah,
yet. I think Rain had seen it. Yeah. But yeah, you guys were like, oh, this is up your alley.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like Yorgos a lot, and maybe even Killing a Sacred Deer might make it onto the pod at some point,
maybe,
or onto this episode, or onto this show. But not this episode, though I am talking about it. But that's slowly creeping into maybe that third spot of being a movie that I could see myself revisiting.
But I think some of the films from this year, I believe in a few years, we're gonna be like, you know what, that was some of these movies will age much better.
What example?
Begonia is.
Gotcha.
It's
would you say Eddington?
Yep. Mm-hmm. One Battle.
Yep.
I think even Marty Supreme, I think in a few years when you watch it again, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
There's some movies, it's when you have an expectation of what it is and then you see it and it's something different, it puts you off a little bit. But then when you revisit it knowing what it is a few years later, it'll hit. I have that with a lot of movies, and I think there's a handful this year. For me, I was a big 28 Years Later fan this year, and I'm like, that's a really exciting movie, and that came out earlier in the year.
Oh yeah.
So, and for a while that was my number one, because everything else was not
that's
good.
That's a perfect that's a perfect example of a movie that was fine to me. It just didn't hit me in the same way.
Yeah.
I think also, I don't know what trend this is necessarily or where it's going, but everything kind of comes in waves, I guess. But I did feel like this year there was a lot more. What's the best phrase or word to use? Overly pretentious, earnest type films. That what I mean by that is really Oscar baity.
Sure, yeah,
and stuff where I'm just this is a safe space, right, for us to, that's what I'm using this as a platform.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
But there's a couple of there. I'll give two examples, right? One, of course, is Hamnet, which I think is reprehensible as a movie. I just
pretty rough.
It's
pretty rough.
I cannot stand it as a movie. And what's almost more. It would be fine if I just watched it and didn't like it, and then that's it. It's everyone around me
it's
telling me how much of a masterpiece this movie is. And
the amount when I logged it on Letterboxd, and it's everyone I followed was 5 star, and I was
5-star.
What are you guys talking about?
To me, that stems from or smells like a lot of sheep to me of we must think this is great because of insert. I could think of 10 reasons, and not really having any kind of independent or critical thought about it.
You're ready tonight. You're ready.
I told you. The other one actually is a movie that made your list, which is Sorry Baby. Totally. Yeah. I'm just to me, this is the perspective of the person that wrote this would be a 12-year-old trying to like figure things out. You know what I mean? Like to me, it
No,
was
I
just it was just such an immature, like not just actually like made movie, but also like the story and stuff. I'm like, is this really like this is I don't know, really surface level stuff. I don't really see any kind of depth here at all, or really someone that has anything to say that is worthwhile, except that some bad things happen and you have to get over it. Like that's really what this deep, thoughtful, independent film is like, yeah, some bad stuff's gonna happen and you're gonna have to try and get over it. And I'm like, yeah, well, okay, so what do you have to say about that though? You know what I mean?
I think she's got
so
some very interesting. We won't get into it.
I'm just saying that this is part, and I'm not. Here's the thing. I will say this too, as a little olive branch. I'm not saying that I'm dug into both of like.
No, I know you're
these
using them
two.
as examples.
I'm using these two as extreme examples of films that were like totally. I was like, what are people thinking when they're talking about how amazing these movies are? And what the olive branch I will extend here is that. I'm not saying that I will always think like that. I think a lot of maybe the venom in which I'm thinking is stemming from that sort of, I don't know, that thought process, I guess, as I was talking about earlier from the early months of fall. And there was a bunch of things that happened. I wanted to just touch on that quickly, and then we can move into Hard Rain, because I know this has got like a little into, but that's what I wanted to kind of talk about the year and then get this off as sort of an appetizer into something sick.
If you want to, can I get you riled up for a second?
Yeah, get me riled up.
We had too many Oz Perkins movies this year.
Oh yeah, dude.
We had too many.
Is that
one is too many?
One is too many. I think we had two. Didn't we have two?
Wasn't it three?
Three?
I don't know. Was it two?
I don't know. It was more
It's
than
too
one.
many.
It's more than
It's too
one.
many.
Yeah, more than one.
Stop making movies. You know? We hate them.
Yeah.
You know, like they're terrible.
Do you have a petition? Have you started a petition yet? I know you've been close.
I've been close.
Yeah, you've been close.
I should.
Yeah.
To the Sick Flicks audience, let's put out a petition to have Neon stop giving money to Oz Perkins.
That's right.
And bar him from making
and
movies.
the caveat there is that Dalton and I get first right of refusal of the script. So he has to send, like, if they're going to give him money, Dalton and I have to approve the script in order for it to happen. If we say no, the movie can't happen.
Yeah.
So
it'll never happen.
It'll never happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was TIFF. There was an extremely busy season at the Highland where we work, the movie theater that we work at, between October and December, which obviously affected things. There was a bunch of, we'll say, smaller films that I was able to see that made me reconsider cinema. Is that a polite way of saying that?
Yeah.
And it just kept feeling like it was, no pun intended, but one thing after another.
Yes, yeah.
And it just kept piling up to the point where, like, I'm sitting down to this movie that everyone's like, this is going to be the savior of cinema, and I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know. It's a guy that plays ping pong, and sometimes it's sick, and sometimes it's boring, and or nothing happens, or the things that are happening don't make any sense to how they marketed the movie. There's all these things that are going through my brain.
Yeah.
And or like, why is this movie 2 hours and 20 minutes long? You know what I mean? So like I said, I just wanted to kind of those were a couple of the reasons why I think it was one thing after another, through those months, turning 40, having the South Park thing running through my mind. Am I too old? Am I missing things? But then, nice, Dalton's got the South Park socks on.
My Butters socks.
See, we're on brand, and I got
I
got my Halloween socks on.
Perfect.
So there we go. I think also
Sock flicks, dude.
Sock flicks. Today is sock flicks. And so and I just wanted to kind of get your barometer on the year and kind of kick off the conversation that way.
Yeah.
And maybe to hopefully give a little bit of entertainment to some people out there.
Yeah. Or get you guys real mad.
Because I've mentioned a bunch of movies.
We like to get our audience mad.
We do. You know, what is actually sick, though, is this
Hard
movie
Rain.
called Hard Rain. And this is an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe you can talk about like how we landed on this movie, because this is the first one that we're doing on Radio Western as a standalone episode for an hour. So what do we like? How did we come to this decision? And
so much back and forth.
I know there
like
was.
we had. It was so we've talked about Hard Rain a lot. I mean, we talked about it on our what was our pilot episode.
I think it was on our pilot.
We mentioned Hard Rain, and then we had tossed around a bunch, and then it's like some we were really excited about, but we're like, we could probably pair that with something for a podcast episode, or like we could do that later on, theme it with a certain time of year, things like that.
Exclusive thing, or
and
do
then
something,
And I remember it was late at night. We were rattling off so many, and then we're just like, let's just do Hard Rain. Like,
and it was raining at the
time.
time.
It was raining,
too.
and it like just started, and we're like, let's just do Hard Rain.
Yeah. Because it's not maybe the most. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening or that could be listening that have no idea what this is. So what is this movie? It's called Hard Rain, and what is it? What's the setup here?
So it is about a town where it has been raining quite a bit. There's a pretty gnarly storm. The dam is starting to fail, and the town's beginning to flood. Now it stars Christian Slater,
yes, it does.
Morgan Freeman, Randy Quaid, and Minnie Driver. That's our gang here,
yeah. And Betty White.
And Betty White, yeah. Christian Slater is a armored truck driver. Morgan Freeman runs a little gang of bandits who are hell-bent on robbing the armored car. Randy Quaid is the sheriff.
Yep.
Minnie Driver is
person that's running a church or restoring a church or something in the town.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Betty White is a crabby old lady.
Yep. Who won't leave? Her and her husband
will not leave.
Yeah,
So the town is being evacuated. Betty White and her husband, they will not leave.
They're stuck in. They're not leaving.
So, just a basic what's going on here. The Morgan Freeman intentionally arrives at the armored car, which is stuck in the floodwater. Christian Slater and his partner believe they're there to help. Things go south. They take out Slater's partner, and
he has to flee.
And
but
when they check the armored truck, Slater has taken the money.
Money's gone.
And he has hidden it somewhere in town under the floodwater. So they are in pursuit across this flooded town. It is still pouring rain. And it never stops pouring rain.
No, and it's still getting...
It just keeps getting higher and higher.
The water's getting higher and higher.
This film has sea-doo chases.
Yes, it
does. It's got boat chases.
Yep.
It's got gunfights. It's got fires. Dams.
Yep.
It's awesome. Yeah. Lot of chaos in this movie. An oddly very expensive movie. I don't know if you have this in your notes, but I'd like to mention it because I feel like this might also give some clarity on what this movie is.
Yeah.
Was it 98?
98. Yes.
So in 1998, this film cost $70 million.
It did,
which is an extraordinary amount of money. And it made $19 million worldwide.
Those are correct numbers, verified. Yes.
So, cost a lot, not a big hit.
Not a big box office hit.
Quite awesome.
Yeah.
You can see that they spent a lot of money on this movie. I don't know why anyone would sign up to direct this movie, because it seems like a nightmare to try and make. But I'm glad they did, because I love this movie.
Yeah, that was a great sort of a small window into what this movie is. And I thought just before we go to break here, maybe we could.
Sorry, we just got into the movie. All right, well, now a commercial.
Well, it's perfect timing, because I think for the next few minutes we can talk about maybe our experience with our experience with this movie. So for me, when this movie came out, I always will remember the posters up in
Such a good poster.
It's a great poster.
I showed it to Elijah before coming in here. He goes, "That's awesome."
It's a great poster. I will always remember the posters being up in the video stores. And yeah, this was a video rental for sure. I would say somewhere in the 99, I would say somewhere. And then definitely caught it a bunch of times on television as well. This movie is like kind of perfect for television. It's, a good length, takes up a nice, 2 hour, just over 2 hour window of television. So, it's and it doesn't, even though it's in Canada, it's rated 14A. It's a very easily censored film on the language side of things. A couple of quick cuts can get you around the more violent parts.
Yeah, not a ton of swearing.
It's an easy television, like cut for television movie. It has big stars, so you're and at the time, I mean, sure, we'll catch the Christian Slater movie or Morgan Freeman movie.
Morgan Freeman as a villain.
And it's Morgan Freeman as a villain with a heart of gold, is how I would describe
a cowboy hat.
A cowboy hat, correct, and earrings. I believe he has earrings in this movie. So that was definitely, I would say, I remember one time with, I believe it was my cousins, we would always, especially in the summers, we would, we'd do the outside thing. And do the fishing and jump off bridges, which was very popular from where I grew up.
Jumping Not much else to do.
Jumping off bridges, biking around, playing around, all that stuff. But when it came time to the evening, we also had a pool, so we spent a lot of time in the pool. So
it's a lot of water theme there.
Lot of water. Yeah, absolutely. Spent a lot of my before 16 in the water for sure.
So this movie's right up your alley.
I took diving lessons, dude. Did you know that? I took diving lessons, which was actually pretty fun. I definitely enjoyed that. It was.
You would have been.
Cool.
You would not have needed to be evacuated in this town.
I wouldn't. I would have been fine.
I mean, floodwaters like you'll get so many diseases. I was thinking that the whole time watching this. I'm like, they are just like, who cares? Let's go into the floodwater. I'm like, you're all gonna die.
Absolutely, with dysentery or something.
Exactly.
So I remember one time with my cousins, I believe we did Broken Arrow and Hard Rain, and those are the two movies we watched.
That's so good.
It just takes me when I would watch this. So I watched this on VHS.
I wish I watched this on VHS.
and it just took me right back to those summer months and that particular period of time, 99, 2000, early 2001. And it's one of those movies where I hadn't seen in quite some time, but I knew all the beats of the movie. Like I was like, oh yeah, and then that happens. Oh yeah, I remember that, and then I remembered maybe about halfway through the movie like how it ended, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, that's right, because that and so it was just one of those movies that it was such a great experience to rewatch.
Yeah,
and it was funny because we both picked it, and I don't think we had like for this episode, but we hadn't watched it in a while
time,
and so
we just knew we're like, yeah, that movie.
I mean, it is from our memories. This movie's sick, and then confirmed on the rewatch.
Yes,
what about you?
This is one that another not shocker. I watched it in college.
Sure.
Title grabbed me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, there's a movie called Hard Rain. I'm in. It was that combined with the poster, and I'm just like, Hard Rain, tons of water. I'm in. And then I read the description, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I loved it. And I hadn't watched it since. And then I will say this movie is really hard to find.
Yeah, it's not an easy movie to track down.
I was like, it was hard. Like, it's not streaming anywhere. If you were to go to a DVD, like somewhere with DVD, and go, can you order me Hard Rain? They'd be like, what's Hard Rain?
That's right. I will say, you can, what I would suggest is go to your local thrift store, Value Village, Goodwill.
Yeah, they probably have a VHS of Hard Rain.
Either VHS or I've seen the DVD floating around as well. But it's one that unless you know what you're looking for, it's easy to pass over as just something that's it's not going to be, your eye's not going to be drawn to it, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be looking for it. And I have seen it out and about in the thrift shops. So, that's going to be your cheapest option and your more surefire
I watched it in a really cheap option, which was a last resort.
Sure.
So You guys can figure out what that means.
Yeah.
I
It
will
rhymes with memorant.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was trying to think of a funny way of rhyming
yeah.
the word. And that's all I could come up with.
I will say I watched it since I had that form. It was in HD.
Right.
There's like some CGI elements to this movie, like minor ones. They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're really, really bad. There's like wide shots of like people driving through the water, and it's like the water is just clipped.
Right.
Like it's just clipped, and I'm like, and there's so many shots like that. And I was like, man, I wish that I watched this on VHS, so it like covered some of that.
That's right, and it's interesting to
$70 million was not spent
well.
well.
I mean, shot 96, 97. That's a tough go. We're not all Steven Spielberg, and cooking with Jurassic Park. This is pre Matrix, and
I mean, it's post. Or no, it's not. It's not. I lied. I take it back. I was gonna say it's post Phantom Menace, but it's not.
No, it's not. No, this is
the year before.
Right. So it's that's when it came out. So it's shot in 97. 96, 97. We will continue this discussion.
We'll start our conversation after the break.
We will continue our discussion on the absolute sick flick called Hard Rain right after these messages. Sick. And we are back. Thank you so much for listening to Sick Flicks on Radio Western 94.9. This is our very first episode of 2026, a Radio Western exclusive where Dalton and I are talking about the movie called Hard Rain.
Hard Rain.
So very generally, Dalton, is this movie sick?
It's very, very sick.
Okay, so what makes this movie sick? If we could go maybe point to a couple of things that you and I think are sick.
I'm already.
Let me hear it.
So I'm going to talk about two major things.
Okay.
I love. I'm going to do what you do with the in my very high school English thing.
Yeah.
I'm a writer. I love stories that are the classic conflicts. Man versus man, man versus nature, man versus God, right? This is like the man versus man and man versus nature. Like taken so far. Like I love natural disaster movies. I know you do as well.
Me too, yeah.
Roland Emmerich,
Yeah. He's going to make an appearance.
He will. He definitely
will.
Yeah. So this is like a smaller scale version. It's like one town. It's constantly rising. Like the stakes are rising. I love vehicle-based things, as you know, and it's an environmental thing which creates the necessity for vehicle-based action, and it's just like compounding sick things in this movie that gets me so excited, like scene after scene where I'm like, yes, let's go here, let's go here. Why are we in a school on Sea-Doos?
Dude,
it's the coolest thing I've seen in a movie in so long.
I love this scene. It could be my favorite scene in the movie.
It's probably, if we're going sickest scene, if we can go right off the bat.
Sure.
Sickest scene, it's a major contender.
It is. And it happens within, I believe, the first half an hour. Like, it's pretty quick into the movie.
I think it's just after, but yeah, it's not.
They
it's
do
not
the
that
setup,
deep.
so you know what the setup is.
Yeah.
And it's the first, what I believe, the first chase where they spot him after he's hid the money. And they go into this
boat dealership first.
The boat dealership is very sick. But this chase scene is amazing because they end up getting, the bad guys, Morgan Freeman's crew, end up getting, there's one kind of fishing boat that they have.
Yeah, it's like a trolling boat, but with a little kick to it.
Right. And then they have Sea-Doos.
Yeah, it's like the goons ride Sea-Doos alongside the boat.
And Christian Slater doesn't have a Sea-Doo.
No, he's got his feet.
He's got his feet, and he's trying to, get away from these guys. And these guys are, I mean, if you can picture it, and you haven't seen the movie, it's picture your school, but with 6 feet of water, and then Sea-Doos in the hallway.
Yeah,
that's what is happening during this sequence.
It's so awesome.
It's so awesome. The little trick that he pulls, where he runs into the step and then tricks the guy in coming his way, and then his one-liner, "Watch your step."
Yeah, it's good.
Unbelievable. So you get a one-liner. You get the fact that we kind of get a little bit into what Christian Slater's character is, which is he's a low-level guy, but he's got some intelligence. He's going to be, pulling out some tricks out of his handbag.
He's too good for the job that he's doing.
Yes,
and it comes in handy that he knows a lot more than he should for the job he's doing.
Right, and you can kind of see that he then takes the Sea-Doo and bursts out the door, and there's a chase after.
They look so confused when he comes in. They're
amazing.
Like,
what? That scene is incredible. It's so much fun to watch. I totally didn't remember a bunch of the little bits in that scene for sure.
Yeah,
I was excited when I put the movie in. To be like, oh, I can't wait until the Sea-Doo scene.
And then it's pretty quick.
It's very quick.
Yeah.
I love also what another element of this movie that's sick is the very short amount of time they spent on setting up what's going on. It's like
it starts.
Evacuation's happening already. You already have.
It's already flooded when the movie starts.
That's right. There's no, you get that there's a little back and forth with the sheriff. There's going to be something going on with Randy Quaid's character.
Yeah.
They set up, Christian.
The evacuees too.
Right. And Christian Slater's character, okay, he's got this older partner. He's, they're doing the thing. So there's a little bit of back and forth, but really you're pretty much right into the movie after this very quick setup, and we're off to the races, right?
Yeah.
After that first run-in with Morgan Freeman and the gang, I mean, you're just, and there, as you mentioned, the stakes are always kind of going up and up.
And bigger.
And the thing is that, and what Morgan Freeman always says is, I think he says it a few times in the movie, but it's just about the money. So
yeah, it's all about the money to me.
That's right. Yeah. And so it's just really cool to, and sick to have this movie that is just tunnel vision in this one. In this one town with this, as you said, the nature element and then the man element, right?
Yeah.
So you have the man, they have to
and
battle
I guess there's
nature.
man versus God too, because there's the church is a major element of this movie.
A major part of it.
Yeah.
I also kind of thought it was interesting that the director of this movie, Michael Solomon, he's obviously Polish or Eastern European or something, because he spells Michael Mikel or something like that. Mikel, he was a cinematographer for many years.
Yeah.
And came over into Hollywood and shot a movie called The Abyss.
Yes.
Directed by Big Jim.
Big Jim.
Then he abruptly stops being a cinematographer and kind of just does TV and does a few movies. But this was one of them. And as you mentioned in sort of our introduction to the film, this movie was expensive.
Yeah.
So they thought that this was a good idea to give a project like this to essentially a cinematographer. And you can really tell the way that scenes are set up and planned out and stuff, that there had to be a very specific plan of how they were going to shoot certain elements. You can kind of tell. I mean, I would assume anyways that a lot of it was shot in studio or some kind of big lot, which is I think is very sick. And then you had the
I don't know how else you make this movie.
Right, but then you have the elements that they have to battle as well. Like there's going to be shots in a town as well.
Yeah.
So I just think I think we were messaging about it, but the logistics of shooting this, I mean, it's raining all the time. So you're every scene you're either in water or have water on you,
Yep.
and you have to, there's a crew you have to deal with, all the actors, you know what I mean? Like even
imagine resetting a shot.
There's you got Sea-Doos and boats and guns and squibs and violence and all of this stuff, and it just must have been a very grueling type of shoot to get through.
I will say another thing I took a note on it, but you were talking about the action elements of it. I will say the cemetery shootout scene.
Yeah.
It's very sick, but there's one thing he does, and I'm sure you picked up on this, but anytime a gun shoots, the camera shakes. Or everything shakes.
Yeah, there's some kind of movement.
But it's a lot of directors do that, but this one felt different. I don't know what it felt like. a very extreme shake, like they were making Earthquake, like the whole camera was like, whoa. And
Whoa.
But I loved it. I was eating it up.
Yeah.
And there's also a really awesome scene in that when someone gets shot and their glasses fall through the water and it lands on the tombstone and it says R.I.P. with his glasses. And I'm like, come on, man. Let's see.
Really good.
Yeah.
Did you clock that guy is the captain from Law and Order SVU?
No, I didn't. That's great.
Yeah, he is. And that character, I guess, is the more tech guy, I believe.
Yeah.
The guy that gets shot in the glasses.
Poindexter.
The Poindexter. But yeah, that's the captain from Law and Order SVU for like the first 15 seasons or something like that.
See, I can picture the guy from SVU, and I can't remember the guy from Hard Rain. I just watched it. I'm like, is it him?
What do you think? I won't go as far into high school English lit here as maybe you did, bringing up the major themes and story. I will say I did like the twist in this.
There's actually a couple twists in this. There might be too many twists in this movie, but I love it because it's just like, why not? Let's just keep going.
Because you kind of have it figured out where, okay, Morgan Freeman's the bad guy with the bandits. However, there's something about him, whether it's our relationship with him in other screen performances or whatever. We don't really want to fully believe that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then
because he also tries to get him to not shoot them at the beginning.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and so then you have the Randy Quaid character, which comes around and is really the true villain of the film.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing
It's very 90s.
It's very 90s, yeah. And then, of course, again, we spoil everything here on Sick Flicks, just so you know. These movies, most of the movies we're going to be talking about are 25, 30, and even older, years old.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't watched
New
them,
year, new spoilers.
That's right. Go. So, Morgan Freeman's character doesn't die, and he actually gets away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you're kind of happy about that.
Gets a little money too,
and he gets a little bit of the money. And Christian Slater's character kind of lets him go, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
But I just think that's they're definitely giving the audience what they want.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
And you still get the comeuppance of the bad guys being true bad guys because the sheriff,
they're bad.
The
they're
deputies
bad
are bad people.
Yeah.
And they get their comeuppance, and I mean, the other scene that's related to that for sure is I do really dig the church climax scene.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's a weird sentence, church climax scene, but the action in the church that it kind of.
I love that it's too wet for them to burn down.
Yeah,
it's such a good element. Like most action movies. Going to be a lot of fire. There's going to be a lot, and they're just like, it's too wet. We can't burn anything. I do think I don't think it's as good as the school Sea-Doo scene, but it's still very sick. I still think the cemetery
is really good, and
there's a really awesome right before the actual final climax of this movie. The boat jump.
The boat jump is great.
Really good.
Now we are in a post speed era.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some stuff in there where they're like, hey, we got to have a thing go crazy, jump off something or whatever.
And it's like, I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
I want to see it.
Yeah. One of the things we like to do on the show too is point out some sick lines.
Oh, I got a good one.
So give me a couple of your I mentioned one, the watch your step one-liner is quite sick, but hit me with a few more. So
the one I wrote down because I'm like, this is the sickest line in the movie, is when they're shooting at the camera. And he goes, "They're not looters," and he goes, "No, they're witnesses."
It's good.
It's very good.
That's good.
What about you?
There's a moment where Betty White.
I was gonna say that's my other one.
Husband. She's kind of
she's really annoying
and curmudgeon-y, and he's kind of just going along with it.
You want me to take it with you?
And there's this moment where he's he's rowing away, and she's just going at him, and he starts to turn the boat around,
go back towards the killers,
and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, they can shoot you or me. It doesn't even matter. I don't care at this point."
He's like, "It'll be done."
Yeah, because he's so annoyed, and then he goes,
drops an F-bomb.
He does drop an F-bomb, which is funny, but he goes, "Do you want me to get us out of here?" And she goes, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, then shut the up."
Yeah,
and I'm like, and I just thought that was it's so funny. His performance is so funny.
He's really likable.
But I just love the like, I'll just shoot you or me. It doesn't even
shoot
matter.
Either of us. I don't care. Shoot both of us.
Shoot both of us.
It'll be over.
I just want this to. You can't keep just yelling at me all the time.
Or later on when he's just like, next time I say let's evacuate, let's evacuate.
Yeah. So I really liked that exchange in those lines. I do want to mention one of and it's connected to that as well, that a lot of these 90s disaster movies or bigger movies, bigger budget movies like this have to have these kind of side characters. That's a very 90s thing to do. Another quite 90s thing is the freeze frame.
Oh my God, yes.
A quick quib or joke and then a freeze frame to end the movie after like all of this insane action, death, trauma has happened.
In the 90s, it was either that or the characters walk away into a crowd and the credits roll.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of both.
Yes, me too. And I just wanted to mention the freeze frame. The other thing I wanted to mention, you kind of touched on it in the introduction, but I wanted to explore it a little further. Because here on Sick Flicks, there's certain premises or setups that both of us are big fans of. And I just want to say that for me, this premise, as you said, when you read the box, you're like, I'm in.
Yeah.
That is really the nugget of what the show is that, can you read that, there's a flood, there's this rainstorm, flood thing happening in this town, and there's an armored car, and it has Christian Slater.
Yeah, if I read the description and I'm like, hell yeah, then that's what I'm in. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to love it.
I love the element of, you have the essentially three different groups. You have, the Christian Slater mini driver and Betty White and the husband are kind of like the good guys. You have Morgan Freeman, who's kind of in the middle, but also kind of bad. But he's driving the story. That's what kicks everything off. And then you have the sheriff's band of brothers, right? So you have the sheriff and his merry men.
Yeah.
And these are sort of the three different things that we're playing with inside of this, big disaster movie at the same time. And it's just something that is so sick and so awesome that it's, again, all I wrote in the notes that I took was, it's just, what a great premise.
It really is.
It's a great premise for a movie. And it feels, what's great is that it takes place over like whatever it is, 24 hours or something.
Yeah.
And it's in a small town. Like everything's set up for it to be, it's not Independence Day where it's, they're going to space or whatever they're doing. And
we're not blowing up the White House.
And blowing up the White House. This is just in a small town, and you have the nature element, and you have the robbery, man versus man element, good versus evil, and it's just a great premise. It's all the right ingredients and if you mix it in real great, you'll have something really sick. So
I have two things. One is about Hard Rain, and one is about me reading premises to movies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the premise thing first because it's funnier. A minute ago I said, basically, if I read a description to a movie and I go, hell yeah, and then I watch it, I'll most likely going to love it. There's only one time I can remember reading or like knowing the premise of a movie and going like, that should be awesome. And then it was a really bad movie. And that was Tenet, the Christopher Nolan movie. I was like, how can you make me hate a movie about like a time war with like where you're things I'm like, it's dumb enough that I'm in.
Yeah.
And then you tried to make it smart, but you just made it make no sense, then told people don't worry about it. And I was like, this movie sucks, dude. Like, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I can't stand that movie. I watched it once. That's a great example
it's a good
good premise.
It's got some bits in there that I'm like, There's no way I should hate this.
Yes.
And then I did. And
Yeah. And I just think that is, and you know what's funny is if you just took that premise of that movie, like you could definitely put that into a 90s action.
and it would be,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If in that kind of time frame, and it would be sick.
I know.
You know,
Like, did
and
you put Van Damme in that movie?
Time Cop, dude.
Exactly.
It's Time Cop.
I know.
Give me Time Cop.
Yeah.
Time
Don't give me Tenet. Don't give that to me.
It's like pseudoscience, right?
It's
Is
like,
that, you
dude,
know?
the guy, he keeps saying it's entropy. I'm like, you don't know what entropy means. Like, this is not what entropy is. I'm not getting too into it. I'm not gonna get too into it.
Yeah, we're coming to the last.
Okay, and my other point about something
'Cause
hard related.
here's the thing: the audience don't know. Okay, Dalton could easily do 10 minutes just on the entropy part. That's what we're doing here. Is we have a few other things we want to get to before the hour's out. So
yeah, come find if you guys know who I am. Just come find me and ask me about it. I'll go off. My other part was I wrote down this note, and I for a minute I was like, I don't know what that note means, and then I remembered, and I want to see if you got this.
Okay.
The stained glass in this movie that they're breaking through
in the church.
when the boats come through, and it does like it comes 3D effect out at the camera, and it's just like a shot of Jesus.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is a crazy thing to throw in here.
It is.
It's also the worst CGI.
It's very bad.
It's so bad. It's like a low poly Jesus on this glass flying.
Didn't notice it as much on the VHS. I'm just saying.
Dude, it's like, yeah, it was like very noticeable, but it wasn't the only time. They kept cutting to those stained like you guys are putting a lot of emphasis,
on
this stained glass.
That's
for
funny.
it not being a big thing with this movie. So
there's one thing closer to, well, it is literally the end of the movie that I wanted to mention, and I don't know, it's definitely not going to hit you the way that it hit me.
Sure.
One thing I forgot about in this film was after the freeze frame that we had mentioned before, there's a needle drop, and the needle drop is for me instant time warp.
Yeah,
an instant time warp.
Hear that, Nolan?
And again, this is a 1%er.
Yeah. I will say I did sit and listen to the whole credits.
Right.
I've done it a few times for movies
Well,
on
what's
this
interesting is the song I'm going to talk about doesn't last for the whole credits. But when I'm telling you that this is going to hit, there's going to be at least one other person that's listening to this that is like, oh man, I know exactly what that period of time was and what this was. The song that dropped at the freeze frame was this song called Flood by a band called Jars of Clay. Now, if you were between the ages of 10 and 20, we'll say, in the mid to late 90s,
yeah,
and you grew up in a certain community, Jars of Clay was like Nirvana hitting.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I can describe it as. They are a quote-unquote Christian rock group that had a song called Flood on this album. And I believe it was their debut album, I want to say. And when I say that this song was everywhere between 96 and 98, 99, definitely, like those couple years, I mean, it was everywhere. Now, I want to be clear, when I say everywhere, I don't mean on FM 96.
No, it's
in a very specific demographic, in a very specific community. But it was a big deal. And it was cool. It was like, the Christian community's always like 4 or 5 years late to the party. So that song, you would hear that song now and be like, well, that's probably 90, 91, like coming into the grunge era. In the Christian rock world, that's coming in 96, 97, basically when the grunge era is over, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, they're trying to take advantage. They're trying to sort of mirror what's happening in secular music. And so you get a lot of mirrored images of bands, right? And this is definitely one of them. I'm not saying they're Nirvana. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're like, they were kind of that type of thing. They're a little grungy, longer hair, and they had this cool kind of sound. Again, cool is in quotations. And if you grew up relatively secluded in what you were listening to, that might have been one or the first couple like rock bands that you were allowed to listen to.
Sure, yeah.
I totally forgot that this song dropped, and when it dropped, I just was like, what? Jars of Clay is in this? And what's crazy is that obviously this is a very secular movie. It's a Hollywood movie. It has nothing to do with...
but there is the flood in the church,
Right. And I mean, for someone to have the wherewithal to because someone over there had something
they knew,
and the song fits perfectly. It's talking about the flood, obviously. The song's called The Flood. 40 days 40 nights. It's talking about all that stuff, the rain and the whole nine. It fits. And it's funny because they were also smart and they didn't play the whole song. They just played enough for you to be like, this is kind of cool, kind of interesting. And then, was this made for this movie? No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm telling you, when that time warped me, it was like instantaneous, dude. And yes, I did have the cassette of that Jars of Clay album.
I knew you did.
If you're wondering, none of the other songs on that album are as good as Flood. If that's your bag, I'm not saying it's mine, but I'm just saying that none of the other songs really, went up to that level or popularity as well. But man, when that hit, I was just wow, that was just crazy to me that was in this movie,
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
All right, Mike, final thoughts on Hard Rain.
Hard Rain is very sick. It's a lot of fun. As Dalton was mentioning, seek this out. You might have to look a little harder for this.
Not that easy to find.
On the interwebs or at your local thrift store, secondhand store.
Give her a shot.
Give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. Now, it's not going to change your life.
No. It's a good time, though.
But you're not, if this is in your wheelhouse, action movies, disaster movies, 90s stuff, maybe underappreciated films, that kind of thing. If you want something new, dial this thing up. It's very sick. There's a bunch of sick scenes in it. There's actors that you'll know who they are. You'll know Morgan Freeman, Minnie Driver, Randy Quaid, all these people you'll recognize.
If you love these environmental, high stakes kind of movies,
it's great.
Genuinely,
it's so much. It's just a fun hang and a fun watch.
Yeah,
and it's an easy watch too.
It is, and
they
oddly put way too much work into this movie
and money.
So
What about you, Dalton? What's your final thought? Is this movie sick?
This movie is very sick, and it's basically what I said. If you like this kind of movie, if you haven't seen a movie like this, give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
It's not the best of this kind of movie.
Nope.
But it's a very, very watchable, very fun ride. Can't recommend enough.
Yeah, and we just want to thank everybody for listening, coming along on this journey with us on this show called Sick Flicks. And what are we going to do next month? Well, we do have our uncensored, unrated Sick Flicks episode chosen.
Should we tell them?
No, I don't want to tell them.
All right.
I don't want to tell them.
You guys don't get to know.
However, the episode we'll be doing on Radio Western maybe is not as solidified from what I remember.
Yeah, no, we haven't locked one.
So we haven't locked one yet. I will say, too, that this has not a lot to do with, the other two films that we're doing on Sick Flicks.
I guess there's some water.
There's some water, and that's kind of about
there's
it.
Some crime.
So there's some crime. So it is there. But what I'm saying is we're not going to always try to find
it's not going to be a trio.
It's not going to be a trio necessarily, but there'll be some crossover.
Yeah.
So there might be some romance, maybe some crime involved in some way, shape, or form next month. Who knows?
Yeah.
What I can guarantee you this, Dalton and listeners, it will be sick.
It will be sick.
So thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been Sick Flicks. You've been listening to Radio Western 94.9. Please join us next month in February, the third Monday of the month, 9 p.m., and you can hear us again talk about another sick movie. So join us then. I've been Mike.
I've been Dalton.
And we'll see you next month.